Hello and welcome to the morning after show presented by our good friends over at betonline.ag. My name is Joshua Reimer. I'm joined by none other than Jared Block, who is over on my right. Jared, how was the weekend, man?
Weekend was solid. Doesn't feel like it's even Monday because my weekend was so busy, and I know
Yeah.
yours was too. Yeah, March is flying by, and now we have to literally talk about all the stuff that happened over the weekend in college basketball. Not only that, but like the best weekend that we've had in a very long time. Even though it's you're setting the bar for yourself higher every single weekend here.
Yeah, I know. There's going to be a point where I can't go above that bar because we've just been smashing and it's been absolutely awesome. I'm excited to talk about NBA. I'm excited for Bacon to have to jump on a call soon so we can't throw shade at my Duke team at all. And I'm excited to talk about all the sports that happened this weekend because it was an exciting weekend all around. You had Duke K's final game in Duke Stadium. You had UFC 272 happened, which was, I don't know. I feel like I kind of predicted it was saying that it was going to be a little less intriguing than everyone thought it was going to be, but it was still a good time. And then NBA was so all over the place this weekend. It was there's a lot to talk about. So, do you have anything else you want to talk about? If not, let's get straight into the NBA recap.
No, we have quite a bit to talk about, so we might as well just start right away.
Yeah, let's start with NBA and the amazing weekend we had with NBA. If you played my content that I provide for NBA Cash members or for GPPs, I'm pretty sure GPP smashed too, then you had a really good weekend of making money. NBA smashed on Saturday and Sunday, and last night's win was super interesting because we didn't have Jokic. And I was telling Anthony, we have a meeting before this show. I was telling Anthony this in this meeting that if you told me last night before the slate started what Joker's final score was going to be at 92 FanDuel points and that he wasn't in our lineup, I would have instantly said, like, oh, we lose. Like, we clearly lose that slate. We chalk it up as a bad one. You can't really predict a player going out there and scoring 92 on anyone. But I would have said we lost, and somehow we not only won, but we were still in the top 30% of cash games, and we were in the top, like, 10% of GPPs. So let's start off there. Jokic absolutely slamming the poor Pelicans. I did not expect it, man, but he went off, and I mean he had an insane stat line.
Yeah, he did, and like he still would have had an amazing day, even if it didn't go to overtime.
Yeah.
So, also apologies if you hear snowblower in the background because it's Wisconsin in March, and we just got like a half foot of snow today.
Nice.
So that is happening right outside my window right now.
Beautiful.
Anyway, Joker would have had an awesome game regardless of OT or not. So it's been a while since we've had a player that has gotten or sniffed 90 plus FanDuel points, right? I know Giannis went for 80 the other week, but this weekend, some of the guys put up some amazing scores. So I know LeBron went for 50 over the weekend. Tatum went for 50 yesterday. And Joker just went absolutely ballistic yesterday afternoon as well. So it's been a while since we've hit that 100 mark. And for those of you who don't remember, I think we've had 2 in NBA DFS history with DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis.
Yep. Yeah. I remember someone asking if in the chat room if anyone has hit the 100 mark before. By the way, what's up, referee? No, glad to have you here. It, I remember someone asking like, has anyone sniffed 100 before? And I was like, yeah, Anthony Davis has. But
Mhm.
like, this is I mean, that Anthony Davis 100 game, what was back in 2018, 2017? Like it
He
was.
wasn't on the Lakers. They were
He
both
was.
on the
Yeah.
Pelicans, I think.
Yeah. They
Actually,
were.
DeMarcus Cousins was on the Kings, I think,
He
at
was
that
on the
time.
Kings, and Anthony Davis is on the Pelicans. So it was a while ago when it happened. So this is the first time that it felt like we got really close. And I think if you go to a second OT, it definitely happens for Jokic. He probably hits that
Oh,
100
for
burger.
sure.
And
Yeah.
he was smashing last night, man. I mean, I know you say, like, if he doesn't go to OT, he still smashes. And he does. He still probably gets around 75. But I'm pretty sure that's what he was at, like 75 FanDuel points before OT. And so, like, OT really just capped it off for him. So we see him go off for 92. That kicks us out of cash. And we're like, well, shit, we have the late night hammer. We have RJ Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, and Alec Burks. And all three of them decided to go off. All three, they combined for nearly 100 FanDuel points. So it was an easy win in the bag. It was really nice to have that. Let's talk about some other basketball that went on last night or yesterday afternoon, because that's when this game was. It was between the Celtics and the Nets. We saw Jason Tatum and Kevin Durant putting on a absolute show. This game was a lot of fun to watch because they were just going tit for tat basically the whole entire game. Celtics come out on top, continue to go on this incredible run where they've made a lot of moves up the playoff rankings. And what are they at now? Are they still at fifth, or they got their way up to fourth yet?
They're 5th. They're a game behind the Bulls.
Yeah. It's close, man, and the Nets have to play the Bulls today. They're 6.5 point favorites, according to our friends over at Bet Online. So maybe you see, I don't know, maybe you see this Bulls team drop to fifth.
Yeah, we'll see. The Bulls have lost 4 in a row. And you look now and you see like some of these teams are starting to heat up a little bit. The Hornets are starting to improve and turn the corner a little bit, and they just took they had the same ranking, but they probably own the tiebreaker against the Nets, which is why they are currently 8th and the Nets are 9th. And then you have the Hawks that are still keeping things in place, and the Wizards had a big win over the weekend. So it's the play-in tournament for the East is going to be really tight and interesting to see how that pans out. As far as the Celtics go, I think they're probably the hottest team in the East right now, coming off of some really big wins. I say that, but I mean, I don't know. We had some really awesome games that weren't on the main slate yesterday. Did you watch
Mm-hmm.
any Bucks Suns?
I did watch a little bit of the Bucks Suns game. I only got to watch 3 quarters of it, but it was a really entertaining game. And I know the Suns don't really have anyone, so winning against them right now is it's okay. It's not great yet, but regardless, pulling out a win is the most important thing. And you guys getting a win, 132 to 122 is really important. So it was a good win for y'all there. It was like you said, like there's a lot of entertaining games on the first half of the day, and then the second half kind of I mean, like, not to say they weren't entertaining, because there were a lot of interesting games, but it wasn't with necessarily great teams like we had in the first two.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the Bucks are now coming off of a week where they beat the Heat, they beat the Bulls, and then they beat the Suns. And yeah, I mean, the Suns one doesn't really count as much, but it was way closer than it should have been. That's for sure.
Yeah, it
Throughout the
was.
entire game until the end, and they still ended up. Did they end up covering -9? Oh, they
Yes, they
sure
did.
did. Oh man, that was going to be a sweat. I didn't bet that, but that would have been a massive mistake if you played that one.
Yeah.
It worked out for you, but man, you got bailed out hard at the end.
Hmm.
Chris Middleton. The only reason I bring that up is he balled out last night
Yeah.
because of Giannis getting in foul trouble, and I was talking to a friend of mine. I'm trying not to be biased, and this is going to come across biased, so it doesn't matter. So,
Yeah.
is Chris Middleton the most underrated number 2 in the league right now?
Oh my gosh. Trying to think of other number twos really quickly. Um, I don't think so, but I feel like it'd be close with some other guys. I don't know. I saw your Chris Middleton apology for him that you posted in the NBA season pass,
Hey,
and I
that's at least
figured we were going to
accurate.
talk about Middleton today. Um, I mean, it has to be close, right? Like, does anyone else come to mind when you think about this conversation?
Bam and Jimmy. comes to mind.
I guess I
Um,
feel it doesn't feel like a typical like number one and number two
it
because
doesn't. It
most nights
doesn't. But
Bam will outscore Jimmy. Like,
I don't know. Again, this is why I'm biased. But how does the league view the Bucks? Is it a 1-2-3? Is it a 1-2?
um,
Like what is it?
I think it's a 1-2-3 at the end of the day. I think like you go back and forth in saying that Drew or Middleton are the sidekick to Giannis. It can really be
Oh, sure.
either or
Yeah.
any given night.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I guess Tatum Brown rings a bell.
Yeah, I guess like I don't know how underrated Brown is really. Like I feel like you have him at a perfect notch right now. So like I don't know, man. Maybe I think you could definitely make the conversation for it. I'll have to bring it up. I'll have to see if I can sneak it in there on the NBA season only podcast and see if
Yeah.
I can get Sean's take on this.
Maybe we're just at the point now where, they've won a title. He's made 3 All-Star games now in the last like 4 years. I don't know if he's necessarily underrated. He's just a quiet, very solid NBA player.
Yeah,
He's
I
not flashy, and he doesn't like he shoots threes very well, but he's um more of a wing scorer. So
yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's a different style. It's not flashy in today's NBA. So Chris Middleton, uh, I don't know if he doesn't win that championship, then it's like I don't know. I mean, where would you rank him? This is an interesting conversation because I feel like people would rank Jalen Brown ahead of Chris Middleton, and people would probably just say he's not like a top 30 player in the league,
Yeah, I was about to use top 20, but I was thinking he's probably outside of the top 25 and potentially even outside of the top 30 at the end of the day.
which is
Um,
so weird because he's made so many All Star games recently.
exactly. That's another thing. Like if you're saying he's in that race for a reserve in the All Star game, then that almost automatically makes him like a top 25 player at the end of the
Right?
day. Um,
It's weird. I don't know.
but we're
This
calling him
Bucks team is
outside of the
always
top
weird.
30, so you're right. It is weird. It's kind of, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know how to feel about Middleton in general. I'm always iffy on him. At least maybe it's just because he's like skirted me so many times DFS wise. Like
I think
DFS
that
wise,
yeah,
I could never get him right. So like typically some of my views for players that aren't on my own team come from DFS love or hate. And I guess that's what happens with Chris Middleton.
right. I feel similarly, and he's on my own team.
Yeah,
So, uh,
exactly.
so yeah, that's
Um,
it's an interesting conversation to have. But we can move that one for a different day.
yep.
Well, yeah, like we just talked about this, and we don't want to like put anything out there for 100% certainty, but if we keep getting a baseball delay, maybe we'll have these kinds of open discussions on podcasts when the playoffs come around.
Yeah, I know we're kind of talking about it behind the scenes, kind of game planning what we're going to do since we'll talk about the lockout update, but it wasn't looking the best, at least from the reports that I got. I saw some positive reports and I saw some negative reports. So
Yeah,
seeing a lot of back and forth there. Regardless, though, hopefully we are able to have some of these conversations for the playoffs because it's fun to talk about this type of basketball. And that's what you get to talk about during playoff basketball. Let's go back to what happened in NBA over the weekend, though. We saw a absolutely amazing game from LeBron. Put up 50 real life points. I think it was 56 at the end of the night. He ended up
hmm
having 70 plus FanDuel points and just absolutely destroyed the Warriors. Somehow, Warriors still kept it close, even with his scoring efforts. But I mean, I don't know where to stand on this as a Lakers fan, I guess, because am I happy they got a win? Yes. Am I happy they got a win against the Warriors? Without a doubt. Definitely yes. Am I happy that it required 50 real life points from LeBron James to get a win? No, I'm not happy about that. Like that's not sustainable. That's not going to happen every single night. So like what as a person who's not a Lakers fan, what's your takeaway from this win? Oh, we might have just lost Jared. I have a feeling we might have lost Jared. Let's see. Yeah, we did lose Jared. So I guess my point overall is just the fact that at the end of the day, I I think this is a good thing for the Lakers. I think this is a potential win that could end up really putting some fire under their ass and really getting them to perform. But it's difficult, man. It's I again, like I said, LeBron can't have these phenomenal performances every single night. And maybe when Anthony Davis does come back, that has helped a little bit. But I think it's super interesting when it comes to that whole win. And again, a win against the Warriors is not the best thing ever either. Like the Warriors are playing absolutely terrible as of right now. So I don't know. You can see where you can see that we're doing this in Discord. We're hoping that Jared's going to be back sometime soon. Is Jared back right now potentially? Oh, Jared is not back right now. Jared, internet problems are the worst internet problems. That's okay though. We'll continue to cover the NBA. Actually, we need power rankings, and Jared has those up on his side. So we will come back to power rankings later on. We'll talk a little bit about UFC 272 and everything that happened to go alongside UFC 272. What a crazy night, man. I mean, up and down the card, it was a lot of fun to watch all the way around, specifically in the main event. And maybe I heard a lot of people say this was boring, and I understand where you're coming from in saying that it was a pretty boring main event. I thought it was still fun to watch. I guess like it's a little bit just because like I enjoyed the MMA game a lot, so I understood like the takedowns were solid by Covington. You really saw a lot from his side that encouraged me that he's still the second best welterweight in the world right now compared. And if Kamaru Usman wasn't there, he'd be the top guy. So Colby Covington win was a good win. Jorge Masvidal, who knows what he's gonna do now, man? I saw that he potentially fights Jake Paul. I saw some stuff that, he could do a lot of things with his time now. So it should be interesting to see what Masvidal does after this. But it's clear that this loss kind of knocked him out of not playoff contention, knocked him out of any championship fight anytime soon. And the real question is, what does Colby do now? Because you're left in a spot where he could go fight that third championship run to try to beat Kamaru, but I feel like we all know that Colby Covington doesn't have what it takes to end up beating Kamaru Usman. And I feel like we all know that at the end of the day, Covington will probably squash any other welterweight contender. So I don't know what to do with Covington. I think it's super interesting. Maybe he gets a Gilbert Burns next. I saw that talked up a lot. Maybe he ends up getting Khamzat Chimaev. I know he kind of diss-talked him a little bit during the press conference on Saturday, but I think that would be a good fight. Whatever Colby Covington does is going to be super interesting, and I'm excited to see what else he does. Just going down the card, we saw RDA get a big win against Renato Moicano, just proving that Rafael dos Anjos is one of the best lightweights, welterweights, whatever in the division in both sides. I think that he's a really good fighter, and we kind of take him for granted because he doesn't fight a lot recently. But RDA still has that stuff, and he's still very talented, and we saw complete domination against Renato Moicano. Bryce Mitchell getting a huge win against Edson Barbosa, just kind of continuing on the Bryce Mitchell train and just seeing how good this kid is. I thought there was an injury there. There clearly wasn't. He's just a really solid fighter. I mean, at the end of the day, there's not much you're going to be able to do to stop him overall. And then just to move down the line, Kevin Holland, big win against Alex Oliveira, provided one of the biggest memes of the weekend with Kevin Holland in a chokehold and Kevin Holland putting both of his thumbs up, showing that he's good. Sergey Spivak got America's win as he defeated Greg Hardy by ground and pound. Jalen Turner, big win for him against Jamie Malarkey. Looked like one of the smoothest boxers that we had on the card. I mean, Turner looked like that next level guy. That's the end of the main event. Now that we finally have Jared back, did you have any thoughts on the main event or just the main card for UFC 272?
No, I came back in just as you were talking about Kevin Holland. Probably
Nice.
the best meme that we've gotten all year.
Yeah.
Maybe even better than like what some of last year was. But yeah, this is currently what's happening in Wisconsin. It's winter storm time. So
Nice.
apologies for that.
Solid. Very good. Yeah, main card was super interesting. And then the prelims were interesting enough. I thought there was some good fights on the prelims, but it wasn't our typical prelim. We saw Tim Elliott come out, get a big win. Umar Nurmagomedov continued to prove why he's probably one of the best bantamweights in the world right now. But yeah, it wasn't exactly that exciting of a exciting of a prelim. We did see Marina Moroz end up getting a win, and she had the Ukraine flag, and so that was really cool. I think everyone enjoyed that for sure.
Yep, definitely was a feel good moment during the card when it didn't. I felt like there just weren't that many like great moments
Yeah,
throughout. I
there
think,
weren't.
I would think Kevin Holland saved the night. To be honest with you.
Yeah, Kevin Holland kind of did save the night. You're definitely right. That RDA fight was kind of boring. I know a lot of people didn't like the Covington fight, so like I don't know, if you paid $75 for that pay-per-view, I wouldn't feel exactly too happy about it. I don't know about you, Jared, but I would not be a happy camper at the end of the night.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the meme, but there was something that came across my sheet that said something like, um, if the UFC was Marvel, Rafael dos Anjos would be the guy, the superhero that they send out to test the waters to see if they need reinforcements. So I
Yeah.
was like, yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds about right. No one wants to mess with Rafael dos Anjos, but that was
No
a good
wonder.
fight nonetheless.
Yeah.
Um,
I was just
even
saying like RDA really
was
proved himself in
never.
that one.
Yeah. How do you view the whole situation? Because Moicano came in with, what, a week, 5 days of notice.
Yeah, I mean, Moicano never stood a chance. So, like, it wasn't about RDA getting the win at the end of the day. Sometimes it's how you get the win is more important than getting the win. And RDA just showing domination throughout 5 rounds. Maybe you give Moicano the fifth. I don't know. It was close at the end of the day. But
Sure.
RDA won round 1 through 4 and won it in a really dominant fashion. So, I think that it's again, like I said, it's more about how you win, less about if you win for RDA, and he won in dominant fashion. So like, it definitely is a good thing for him. It sucks for Moicano though. You had 2 straight wins coming into this fight. Now you had to face off against RDA. I don't know who made this decision to take this match, but like he was very clearly out. He didn't really have the boxing to stick in this one. He didn't have the grappling. He didn't have the wrestling. Like he was outmatched in every single MMA category. So like I don't know who thought he could win this fight. And I guess you can always win any fight. It only takes a punch. But it just, I don't know. Whoever made this decision for him kind of feels like a little bit of an idiot, in my opinion. Like, you had a 2 fight win streak. You could have parlayed that into something better the next fight if you got a good opponent. And you could have been on a little run. But now you just got beat for 5 rounds by RDA. Like, your
Yep.
any run for a big contender spot is just absolutely completely gone.
Yep. Agreed. Do you do we have to bring up Greg Hardy today?
I already said Sergey Spivak got America's win with the Greg Hardy thing. You know,
Oh, for sure.
everyone's happy.
Yeah.
I hate to be the salty one here. I did take Greg Hardy in the lineup. It hurt a little
Oh,
bit
I
to
know.
take him.
Yeah.
Um, but you know, if America's happy, then I'm happy. And then more importantly, we got the win. So as long as we got the win and he lost, then I'm perfectly fine with that.
hmm Do you think that? Because I think the UFC knows that they have something in Bryce Mitchell. How far do you think that he can go here?
I think he can go really far if people start fighting him. I mean, that's the reason that we haven't we before this fight we hadn't seen him since 2020. Like it's been such a long time since seeing him in a fight.
Yeah.
No one's willing to fight this guy, but they know they have something. They are thrilled that they have something because not only did he absolutely outclass Edson Barboza everywhere that Barboza went in that fight, but he also provided absolute gold on the mic afterwards. And that's the main thing for the
That's
UFC
true.
right now,
It
right? Like a
is.
lot of these guys have that fighting skill that you need, but not a lot of them have the mic skills that you need. And so like
Sure.
him coming on the mic, him having that persona already, him saying that he's going to donate half of his paycheck to, I forget where, I think it's the Arkansas Children's Hospital or something along those lines. Regardless, it's just everyone likes him. He's a feel good story. He is a very well liked fighter. So he's gonna get the fights now. That's the most important thing. That's what he needed. Hopefully he's fighting within the next like 4 months. Like he didn't get injured in that fight. As long as that injury wasn't a real thing in his training camp, like I thought it was, then he should be fighting really, really soon. What's amazing is that Dana White, I guess, ringside told him like, "Hey, don't pay that donation out of your paycheck.
Hmm.
We'll handle it for you." Saying like
That's
the
dope.
UFC will
Okay.
handle it for you, and he said like, "No, I want to do it. Like I promised it. I'm gonna do what I promised." And so like
Interesting.
you hear something like that, and it's like, come on, like how could you not like this guy? Like he is absolutely awesome. So I think Bryce Mitchell is going to go pretty far. Just how far his talent will take him, and when you have that type, the main thing is like he needs to work on his boxing. But we saw him lay down Edson Barbosa with the punch in the first round. Like
Sure. Yep.
the boxing's developing. his BJJ is next level. His wrestling needs a little bit more development, in my opinion, but he might be the full package, and he could really do some things at this. What he's at 145, right? Pretty sure he's at 145. He can really do some things at featherweight.
Yep, 27 years old as well. As of last weekend, he was number 11. Was that right?
Yes, he was.
And how far does he move up with that win?
Probably moves up into the top 10 for sure. Probably gets number 9, if not number 8. And that's good, man. I'm wondering rankings wise, like what that puts him next to, because I don't really know. Featherweight's interesting. Featherweight's a division that I don't really pay too much attention to because Volk is so dominant.
Yeah,
Putting
yeah,
him up against Brian Ortega is a little bit of a reach right now. Maybe you do that next go around, but that would be super interesting. Um, so that puts him, if he moves up to number 10, he beat Barboza. Barboza was number 10. So let's say bare minimum he goes up to 10. He has Dan Ige, Giga Chikadze, Arnold Allen, Josh Emmett, Calvin Cater, all guys that he could fight, and all matchups that I think a lot of people would be excited for, especially Giga Chikadze. Giga Chikadze would kind of be a title eliminator almost if he got that matchup.
yeah. Right. I think that the future is bright for this kid,
Yeah.
and all the headlines don't even really talk about the win. It's all about the charity stuff. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely like there's not too many guys in a league and a league right now that is so focused and irritated about not having fair pay for their middle class fighters.
Mm-hmm. Without a doubt, definitely. It's super interesting and good for him. I'm happy that he did it, and I'm hoping he gets a fight soon. Like I hope we don't have to deal another year and a half without seeing him again.
Right, exactly. So we did get the news that Khabib was inducted into the Hall of Fame. That was showcased during the event. That was kind of a no-brainer. We saw that coming. I
Yeah.
question though, because from somebody that doesn't really know this, how many fighters are actually in the Hall of Fame?
Oh, it's a laundry list of guys. It's actually a
Okay,
longer list than you would think, even though
all
the
right,
the league has only been around for like what they've been around for 30, 35, 40 years almost, but it's a big list of guys, and they even have it like separated now. If you watch the broadcast, like they said that he got into the modern Hall of Fame. There's like a modern, and then there's a like a past Hall of Fame too. So I
interesting.
mean it's a good induction for sure. It was going to happen. I think they were kind of waiting and hoping that he would come back. It would be interesting to see if he would come back now, because everyone says that he still wants to, or says that there's potential for it.
Yeah,
Um,
I think he's done.
I think he's done too, but I don't know. I'll always want to see him come back. I love the guy, so it'll be interesting. But yeah, it was a no doubter. It was a no brainer, and good for him for sure.
I mean, in my opinion, quit while you're ahead in a sport where so many people are trying to come back from things and most of the time never come back.
Yeah,
Uh, all the way. And he's 33 years old. Save your health at this point.
yeah. So sorry, he's in the like. There's the modern wing. I'm looking this up now. There's a pioneers wing. There's a fight wing. There's a contributors wing, and that's it. And so like he got into the modern wing where there's guys like Michael Bisping in there, George St.
Mm,
Pierre, Rashad Evans, Ronda Rousey, Forrest Griffin. I don't know if Forrest Griffin's in the modern wing, but okay. Um, Regardless, though, it's a good group of guys to be with for sure.
nice. Okay. Uh, there's a few more things here. I don't know if you got to these, so we'll just keep going with the UFC stuff. Did we get to the 273 announcement?
Uh Oh no, we did not. We did not get to the 273 announcement. But this announcement's big. It's something that we got a little bit early on in the week, but it's happy to hear from the UFC is that Kamaev and Burns are going to be fighting on UFC 273, in which is a stacked card, my man. I mean, we get Peter Yan, Aljamain Sterling, we get Volk and the Korean Zombie on the top of the card, and then we announced that we got this fight too. Like it's really really exciting. I'm excited for UFC 273 more than any card in recent memory. Like I think specifically this Kamaev and Burns fight, we get to see if Kamaev's the real deal, and that's exciting by itself.
Yeah, it's I mean, we're just hoping that all these fights stay intact and that think that's probably the best way to approach it from
Yeah.
here. It's the weekend directly after March Madness Final Four, so it's going to be
Wow.
stacked back-to-back weekends. But yeah, I was stoked to see that, and then finally we saw Kamaru Usman in the building, which I thought was super ironic, and that he did that. He did it completely on purpose,
Hmm.
too, and we everybody knows that. To see that he comes in, basically just tells them like, I'm here for entertainment purposes. I've beaten both these guys, and I'm just here to watch and eat the popcorn. And then, but he's also had a backstory the entire week too, whether or not he wants to defend his title first, or if he wants to do the boxing Canelo match first. So I know
Man,
that you're shaking your head on the boxing thing.
yeah, I hope he does the boxing thing, man. Like I hope he does the boxing thing because I know I'm gonna slam Canelo. Just like you should have slammed Mayweather when him and Connor fought. Like this is the same exact thing all over again, it feels like. I hope he takes up the boxing because I'll be excited to bet the other side. UFC fighters just don't translate well, and especially Canelo, man. Like he is a beast. Like I would not want to do that. I hope for his sake he stays in welterweight. Maybe makes the move up. I know he doesn't want to fight Adesanya because they're boys right now, but like I would love to see a fight to make him a super champ or make one of these guys a double champ. Um, I don't know, man. Like I think there's a lot more interesting fights that you can make on the UFC side of things rather than going to fight Canelo. But he can make them. I mean, he's set for life if he fights that fight.
Insane
Like
amounts of money. Yeah.
it would be stupid amounts of money. So I kind of understand it, but like at the same time, I want him to stay in the UFC.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, regardless of what happens, there's gonna be people complaining about whatever it is. So
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes. But I thought that was interesting, and especially the fact that he came in as a spectator to watch the two guys that he already owned fight. It was pretty funny.
What was super interesting to me is that like where he was sitting. He was sitting next to Habib the whole night. Like they
Yep. Yep.
when the camera focused on Khabib for the Hall of Fame announcements, Usman gave a hug to Khabib. So I was like, damn,
Yep.
like I wonder if they're
Hmm.
training on the side or something. It would make a lot of sense. We're seeing a lot of the game translate over to Usman with wrist control and a lot of that Dagestani wrestling. So like I could definitely see it. That's I mean just another guy to have in your corner is really awesome.
Yeah, and that was there. There was they showed that area of the broadcast so many times. It just makes me feel like those were the only people that were even in the building.
Yeah.
Uh, And I know that I mean, I don't know if you noticed this, but they showed Steve-O like 15 times because
Yes.
he was right behind them, and even got a shot of Steve-O taking his tooth out earlier
I
before the
saw.
main card started.
Yeah, that
Like,
was funny.
so it was that, and then there was did you notice how many people were not in their seats during the prelims, and then all of a sudden it's just
Yeah.
like packed
Yeah.
afterward because they're playing in the hockey arena, right, in Vegas. That's where they were. That's where they were.
Yes. Yeah, that is where they were.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So that I don't know. That was wild. But I
It
noticed
was.
that it was like it's still early there, so I get it. But the prelims, I guess there's just that big of a difference of what fans want to see live.
I guess so. I guess. I don't know. I would have been excited to see the prelims, but I know I'm different from than the majority of USC fans, so I guess I understand.
Right. Oh, side announcement. I don't know why I just thought about this, but I got told last week from a friend that Wisconsin doesn't allow any sports betting at all, but we
Hmm.
have a lot of Native American casinos.
Hmm.
None of them allow sports betting, but we just got word that instead of so basically FanDuel and DraftKings made their bids to the city of Milwaukee, and they both got turned down for the casino that's here. So the casino is getting sports betting before football season.
Nice. There you
And
go.
I was
That's pretty
like,
hot.
oh, all
Yeah.
right, cool. I mean, as much as I wanted FanDuel or DraftKings Sportsbook in Wisconsin, I guess we'll have to wait a little bit longer.
Yeah. What
But
sucks here is that like
somewhere,
In Tennessee we have sports betting, right? But it's only mobile. Like none of the casinos have it. So like I don't know what to do with that. I mean, it's cool, but it's not like I want to go to a sports book all day on one of my days off and just enjoy watching sports and betting stuff. And I don't get that opportunity, but it's all right. All right. Anything else for UFC 272? If not, we only have 15 minutes left. So let's get to college basketball and talk about everything that happened over the weekend.
yeah, we saw a few punch tickets for March Madness so far, and Not too many surprises. I guess there's a couple of them. I mean, the one that's already Murray State's not really a surprise to me. They've kind of been a thing since John Morant kind of, it was the claim to fame there. So Murray State back in the tournament. We also know that Sister Jean and why can't I think of the name? They're in
Loyola.
right now. Loyola, Chicago. They're in. Yep. So there's a couple others. Obviously, we know that Providence clinched for the Big East, but they still have their tournament. So we have a few more. I'm just pulling up the stuff now because of my stupid computer going out.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's. I know that we have all the Power Five conference tournaments this year or this week, starting tomorrow. Actually, the ACC starts on Tuesday. So we'll have a lot of announcements pertaining to the rest of the week and how we're going to approach March Madness here. But yeah, Power Five should be interesting. All the smaller schools, some of them are still going on. I know that we have Summit League quarterfinal or semifinals, I believe today or sometime this week early, and a few of the other smaller schools are doing things as well. Anything that surprised you over the weekend for some of those schools?
Nothing that surprised me from those schools over the weekend. What did surprise me, and I guess I'll just put myself up here to get roasted, is man, my poor Duke team. What in the world happened here? Because like it hurt to watch this game, and I know a lot of the country was happy about Duke losing, so that's okay. That's all right. We're used to it. Get the losing out of the way now before anything serious is happening, and now we have the ACC tournament. And that should be exciting. So because North Carolina won this, they're on the same side of the bracket as Duke. So most likely we see them before the ACC championship. I'm excited for that rematch. I'm excited for that third iteration of the matchup because it's always fun to see that third iteration.
Yep. Yeah, we're gonna definitely. I mean, I don't know. We'll take a look at the ACC bracket. I know I took a look at it this morning. I'm sure that they're probably on either side of the bracket. If is North Carolina a number 2 seed?
North Carolina's number 3, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, maybe they're on the same side of the bracket then.
Yeah, they
Uh,
are on the same side, I'm pretty sure.
oh, wonderful. Okay, so Longwood wins the Big South. That's impressive. First time in their history of doing that. So that was awesome to see. They beat Winthrop, who has been the team that has been kind of consistently coming out of that conference. Like I said, we have Loyola Chicago takes the Missouri Valley tournament. Murray State takes the Ohio Valley tournament. And then, did you see the buzzer beater, like the half court heave over the weekend as well?
I think I saw something about this on Twitter, but I don't think I got to watch it on TV or anything.
Oh, it
What game
was
was that?
incredible. Now it's slipping me, but like that was insane. It wasn't any of the like the
Uh huh.
ticket punchers, but it was definitely it's like I have to look now. No, this is really unprofessional by me, but again, computer issues this morning, so
Yeah.
I'm taking a look.
Meanwhile, while you do take a look, just remember, guys, that if you are working this weekend or this week, no worries because it's going to be basketball all afternoon. Monday or today, not really, but tomorrow is the start of it. You get the ACC tournament, Boston College versus Pittsburgh at 1 p.m., NC State versus Clemson at 3:30. Then on Wednesday, you have a game all the way at 10:30 a.m. I mean, it's Idaho and Sacramento State, but
Hey,
it's
whatever.
still a day basketball game. I think it's awesome. Then Syracuse and Florida at 11:30 or at 11 a.m. Then on Thursday, you get an early Duke game. You get an early game from Providence. You have Texas versus TCU, which is always fun to watch. And then Friday, you get more early basketball, all the way starting at 10:30 a.m. So there's going to be a lot of basketball this week. So make sure to stay tuned in. And if you're at work, there's something to at least keep you distracted while you're at work, I guess.
Yeah, so the buzzer beater was from, there's a couple actually that happened, but this first one that I remembered was Tulsa over UCF that happened over the weekend, happened yesterday on senior day from a senior, Jeriah Horn. That was from roughly like 10 feet behind the half court line. And that was wild. An actual buzzer beater where they were down two and he hit a three and it actually expired as it went through. And
Nice.
then we also had one from Montana State. Raekwon Battle hit it from like 35 feet out to beat Northern Colorado.
My
So
goodness.
huge things for those people. But the Tulsa one was the crazy one. But maybe the most crazy wasn't even college basketball at all. Did you see Brandon Ingram's buzzer beater from
I heard
halftime?
about it last night. Again, another thing where I
It's
wasn't watching
fucking
the game though.
okay. Need to watch both of these. I posted them in our chat.
Okay.
Uh, we have like 8 minutes, but still, you need to see these because
Okay.
these are crazy.
So, oh geez, NBA is gonna make me go to the website here. Let's see this. Oh my goodness. No way he makes this. Holy crap, that's insane. Did he
Yeah,
skyhook that? Kinda, a little
basically.
bit. Yeah, basically. Holy crap. And look at Jokic, just like, damn, like he really made that. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
That's insane. What a shot by Ingram. And then let's see this other one too. Sports Center, mute it so we can watch it. Oh, this one's long. This is like a minute. Hopefully it's quick here.
Oh, it's
Oh, what
quick.
a shot. That's crazy too. Jeez. What? That's a big win for them too. Against UCF, 17-10.
Yep. So the more impressive part about it is the dude missed the free throw, and they were the only team. Like the offense didn't have any box. Like they didn't have anybody in the paint at all
That's insane.
to
Uh
to specifically play defense. So all the dude has to do is hit the free throw.
yeah.
He didn't.
That is absolutely insane. So I guess a weekend of buzzer beaters for sure.
Yeah. So today we have the Colonial Conference semifinals. We have the Summit League semifinals, which I'm super pumped to watch South Dakota State because that's one of the teams that I always root for every year. It's just been a thing where they've been hot, and that's I believe where Mike Don played South Dakota State, right? I think that sounds right.
It sounds about right. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds right.
And then we also have the Horizon League semifinals between Wright State and Cleveland State. We have Southern Conference between Furman and Chattanooga. And we also have a Sun Belt Championship game tonight, which is between UL Lafayette and Georgia State. Georgia State being the incumbent, pretty much winning, I don't know, for the last like 7 years. So they've been a team that's definitely been on the rise as far as their specific conference. And then we do have, excuse me, teams that you might know. I don't know what this stands for. Maybe it's just College of Charleston versus NC Wilmington. Those two teams are playing each other, 1 point spread. That is the semifinal for the Colonial Conference as well. And then we actually do have and this is kind of like it's weird how this one always happens, but the West Coast Conference is just different and weird, and they do things at weird times compared to everybody else. Maybe it's the spotlight thing, maybe it's whatever. But Gonzaga does play San Francisco tonight in the semifinal round for the West Coast Conference, and Gonzaga is 14.5 point favorites, so they most likely will quietly make it through to the end. I'm curious to see. Yeah, we're probably going to get a St. Mary's Gonzaga rematch for the championship.
That should be interesting. That should be a lot of fun to watch. I'm definitely excited about that. I hope St. Mary's wins another one. I hope they can get it from Gonzaga. I would like to see that. All right. Anything else for college basketball? If not, let's give an update for the MLB lockout and then get an Nhl Blind Dogs.
Nope. Today is the last day for the rest of the month of March that games aren't during the day.
Nice. You'll love to see it. And then we get a whole bunch of day games, and that's going to be an absolute blast. MLB lockout update, though. Not much, but a little bit. We got news that the MLB union gave their proposal yesterday, and they're going to talk about it today in meetings. That proposal, some things were, met in the middle a little bit for the MLB. Some things were still completely on the union side. And I think the last note we got from like a Rosenthal or a top-notch MLB reporter is saying that they're kind of deadlocked right now. So
Yep.
hopefully something comes away from these meetings today. I know that they've at least agreed to meet halfway on some of the rule changes, like bigger bases, a pitch clock,
Yep.
banning the shift. So we're at least meeting in the middle on some things, but other things there's still plenty of room to maneuver.
I don't know about you, but I don't think the shift should be illegal. I think that the one thing that they can change is they can take the shortstop or the second baseman that moves into left center or right center. Like if they do that, then I think it makes more sense.
I think you just can't. I don't know. I don't know where to
Isn't it still on? Isn't it still on the hitter to not hit there?
Yeah, it is, but
It's basically like doubling or triple teaming LeBron, isn't it?
yeah, it is. I don't know where to hold it, man. I think at the end of the day, it's more of a thing of just shortening the game a little bit. Um, because it takes time for those players to move, but there's other ways to shorten the game too. I don't know where I stand on it. I'm fine either way. I Whatever side ends up helping us get to an agreement here is the side that I want, because I truly don't care either way. At the end of the day, just it makes baseball more interesting, right? You're essentially with that shift, you're taking a lefty slugger completely out of the equation almost.
I guess.
For the
Sure.
most part. I don't
So
know. I don't know.
for me, they can make all these time complaints all they want, but yes, I understand that baseball can be long, especially when you get into stuff. But we've seen NFL overtime games go 4 hours. We've seen basketball games go into double overtime. Those are shorter, but the concept is the same. It's more about the excitement level throughout, and I think that that's where if you want to make the game more exciting, don't worry about time. Just worry about things give one me and my friends have made a laundry list of things that we could do to improve the game that are all probably illegal. So give one person every single. So we're gonna have a universal DH hopefully this year. I think that's
Yeah.
what that actually is
Yes,
going to be something.
for sure.
So you give that one specific person the ability to use steroids, and you have a better game.
Okay, so let's take out the steroid side of things. I think giving one person each inning an aluminum bat would be a
There
lot
you
of
go.
fun.
That's
I
what's
feel
on
like
the
that's the
list.
perfect way to do it, man. You just see
Yeah.
these. Well, that's essentially that's also what the shift is doing, though, right? It puts more balls in play if you don't have the shift. You're getting more guys on base, you're getting more hits.
Yeah.
I don't know.
People want to
I
see home
under
runs on offense. So why are we worried about time if the more offense there is, the longer the game's going to be?
Yeah. No, yeah, you definitely have a good point. I don't know. It should be interesting to see what everything happens. All you need to know is that none of these changes happen this season. These changes happen
Yeah.
in 2023. So stay
Yep.
relaxed, stay calm. No banning of the shift quite yet, and they might completely change their mind by 2023 based on fan reaction. But it should be interesting. All right. Anyway, lockout. We're still locked out in MLB. You said it earlier this morning. I kind of agree with you. Expect another series to be canceled soon here. They're kind of cutting it short on time, and they're saying earliest they could start spring training is the end of March right now. So that would give us 2 weeks of spring training and then right into baseball. Um,
Yep.
I don't know. It's going to be pretty tight, but we'll have to see. Maybe they come to. I know they are meeting today, so maybe they come to some type of agreement today. But it seems unlikely considering how far apart the union and the MLB were on their last proposals.
Yep. Agreed. Last thing I have to say about this, and then we'll move into NHL Blind Dogs, is that we got the news that there's two teams that have banned Rob Manfred from coming to their games
Nice.
in the minor leagues. It's the Kalamazoo Growlers and Bismarck Larks. They have banned Rob Manfred because of the MLB lockout, and the quote is, amid the MLB lockout, Manfred and the MLB team owners have shown only an interest in money and not providing baseball for their players and fans. They are trying to ruin baseball simply for their financial gain. We are banning we are banning Rob Manfred. The team looks forward to seeing you all at the ballpark this summer, but not Rob Manfred.
Nice. Solid PR move there, right?
Yeah.
I mean that's what it is at the end of the day. It's just a funny PR move. All right, let's get into NHL Blind Dogs. Let's we both pick an underdog. By the way, guys, don't bet on this. This is just for fun, but we like to keep track of it, and I have no clue how last week went on Friday, but I do know that it is your turn to pick your NHL Blind Dog for today.
All right. We're at the point where I actually don't even know when the end of the season is for NHL, so
Neither
maybe.
do I. It has to be coming up here soon though, right? We're right around the
Yeah,
corner. It feels like.
I mean, all right, let's see. I'm first because I know that I bet on Buffalo. Today there are only 4 games, it looks like. 5 games. I bet on Buffalo on Friday, so let's just take a look and see if that worked out. Hey, it worked out. Look at that.
Nice.
So 5-4. All right.
There you go.
Today there are 5 games, and let's
We're
see.
completely wrong, by the way. The season does not end anytime soon. It ends on April 29th. Playoffs
Woo!
start 3 days later on May 2nd.
Yeah, because they didn't start for forever.
Yeah,
Because
that makes sense.
they didn't start till like December.
Yeah.
All right. So 5 games today. Pretty lopsided, only outside of like 2 games. So I'm gonna go ahead. We'll try to take a home team here. Let's go, man. The teams I want to bet on, the teams facing them are like elite. So let's go with the Columbus Blue Jackets, and hopefully maybe they can take one because that's the highest over under of the day, plus
Nice.
193.
Nice. I'm gonna take the New York Islanders. Let's hope it works out, and we'll see what happens here. Jared, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
No, just it's going to be an awesome week of college basketball, and we have some exciting things planned for March Madness that will be dropping this weekend. We have to wait for Selection Sunday to be able to do that.
Yep, Selection Sunday should be a lot of fun. That's this Sunday for all those who don't know. And tournament play all throughout the week should be a lot of fun to keep up with. So we'll be talking about it all here, all in the morning after show. So make sure to come join us. But as always, my name is Joshua Reimer. Good morning and good skill.